Hey everybody, Chris here. Where is the Dogecoin and Bitcoin bottom? We're going to explore that in this video. Please be sure to subscribe to my channel. Hit that little notification bell too. You can be notified when the videos come out as well as when I do live streams. We had exciting news about the Doge 1 mission yesterday. Elon Musk confirming that it is still alive, but it's probably going to be next year. So we're in 2026 now. So now we have to wait till 2027. Well, the Dogecoin market and its price really didn't respond too kindly to that. And we still have Bitcoin and everything holding Bitcoin down. Of course, Bitcoin is the big daddy. 60% of the total crypto market cap is in Bitcoin. So pretty much without specific news about any individual coin, most cryptos are just going to be following Bitcoin. But we still have some Dogecoin things to look at as well as we explore the bear market bottoms again. That's right, bear market. Chris is still a bear. Let's get into it. Let me show you the charts on the news. I'll show you what I'm looking at. And we start here looking at the current Dogecoin chart. And we're about where we were yesterday morning when I made my last video, right around 10.7 cents. And here we were yesterday at the same time. We did have the little 2% pump there on the Doge 1 mission news, and that was about it. Now we had much more volatile price action later in the morning yesterday. And again, these were leverage flushes, shorts, longs, and then shorts. And we see where Dogecoin is today compared to yesterday, pretty much even. Bitcoin is lower. And this yellow line here is my Michael Saylor MicroStrategy, Strategy B break-even line. And Bitcoin went much lower yesterday, down to $73,000. Now there's going to be a lot of talk about what that means in terms of MicroStrategy's liquidity and the stock price of MicroStrategy going down. A lot of people trying to buy on the dip the MicroStrategy stock, but I think that there's still more volatility to come there, and there may be better entries for that, as well as Bitcoin and Dogecoin. So that is the current market state. We'll be zooming out, and we'll be looking at a number of larger pictures in terms of what all this means. We talked about double top, double bottom, double top, double bottom again, and whether this bottom is actually going to be the bottom here at 73K now on that dip, and are we going to then go up and retest first 80,000 up to 85, or is there still more pain coming? And for Dogecoin, the Dogecoin dip here back, 9899. Looking at the October 10th flash crash here, we'll talk about that in a minute as well. That was 9.5, and so we'll be seeing whether Dogecoin touches that or may go lower, as we looked at in my bear market bottom live stream I did back in December, where I connected fib retracement lines after October 10th to see how low we could go. And we'll talk more about those as well during my next live stream, which will be Wednesday at 4 o'clock. Make sure that you're subscribed, you got your notifications on, and join in on the live streams. Ask me your questions. I get to just about everybody in the chat during Q&A, so please come in and join the lives as we explore what's going on in these markets. I still have my magnet up here at 30 cents for Doge. We've got a long ways to go to get up there. That's going to be one big catalyst, isn't it? One big catalyst we'll be waiting for there. All right, so let's get into the news and what's going on here. First, it is all about liquidations. Yet again, you guys get tired of hearing about this, but this is the volatility we have in the market. This is the exchanges and market makers still in control. And so many leverage traders trying to time the bottom with big, long leverage trades with 5x, 10x, 20x leverage, even more. And the market makers continue to wipe them out. Just in 6 days, it's been over $6 billion in liquidations. Now, on October 10th, that day alone, we had like $19.5 billion in liquidations. So it's not quite the 10-10 market crash, but it's a lot, and it is a lot. And that is where the market is right now, and that is what's leading the market. It's been the wildest week in months, for this past week as we have seen successive liquidations coming down. And we can look at the liquidation heat map and we can see just over the past 24 hours, $700 million. This has been day after day after day of over $100 million of liquidations. Yesterday had even more, both short and long. With that up and down price action, the leverage traders are still getting wrecked. Coin Bureau. This is interesting. They published this post here about CZ and something CZ said on a podcast about October 10th. And what was Binance's role in that? The tariff announcements preceded the crash, not Binance system issues or Binance doing anything. And I'm like, CZ says, anybody who still thinks Binance deliberately caused that crash, that's just really, really far-fetched. And I said, yep, I'm far-fetched because I believe they were behind it still. They were involved. And CZ is trying to talk his way through it. I mean, we're in February now, and CZ is even still talking about October 10th. Because there's a lot of guys like me who keep talking about it because this was the black swan that turned the bull market into the bear. See, we don't buy and sell crypto in the sense of trading to make money out of it. Okay, good. That's correct. You don't buy and sell crypto to make money, but you do, through yourselves and through Wintermute, dump crypto to take out the leverage traders because you know you will lose millions of dollars, hundreds of millions of dollars if those leverage traders actually make money on your platform. So he's talking weaselly around this whole thing, and he's been doing that since October, and he continues. But I'll still say, yeah, he was partially behind it. And this is what we have here, right? The exact reason the market just crashed again. Binance dumped 13,541 Bitcoin. Wintermute dumped 8,000. Coinbase, BlackRock, Kraken. This is what it is. This is what it is. How to dump the market. The market makers who work for all these guys, they all coordinate it. The exchanges are transferring their coins to the market makers to dump. And then the market makers buy it back up at a lower price. Right? They make their money. The exchanges don't lose money on all those leverage traders. Rinse and repeat again. That's what's been going on. Bitcoin is officially broken below this multi-year support neckline. Next big support is 55K. So this is what Bitcoin Census says. All these TA guys are trying to make sense of the market and what's going on and where these lines are and all that. And every time they say, oh, this is support, this is the bottom, it does tend to break out and go even lower. And that's what we have yet again. Where is the Bitcoin bottom? And we're talking about Bitcoin again. We'll get to Doge in a minute. Ever since breaking the 50-week moving average, Bitcoin's momentum has been to the downside. And that is where I called the bear market on that 50-week moving average. 2 weeks ago, we also broke through the 100-week moving average because there were a lot of people saying, well, okay, 100-week will be the bottom. Well, we broke through it, right? There's the 100-week moving average there, and we broke below that. So we're currently trading at Strategy's cost basis, right? 74K. That's also close to the April lows. We go back to April 2025 and the tariff dumps, right? Where did we end up down there? If we break below, the next key level is 70K, which is just above the previous all-time high of 69, which is about where I predicted we would see the bear market bottom. However, breaking below that means we head to, well, what's his bear market low target? And the area to watch here is 55 to 58. That's just between the average realized price of all coins and the 200-week moving average. This should be the bottom. So right now, that's about 57K on the 200-week moving average for Bitcoin. So that's what can happen. Right here's the previous cycle all-time high. And if we break below that, again, this was my target a long, long time ago. Back when we were way up here, I was saying 69. If we break below that 200-week moving average at 57, 58K would be the line to watch for. So we have
Chris Pax's declaration of the bear market here, and then we have a successive sort of waterfall was what we would typically see. So I think we're going to bounce here again, maybe even go up a bit, maybe test 80K again. And that could take a month or so. And then something else is going to come along and drop the market lower. That's what I think is happening. And again, Bitcoin is going to lead in all of this. Bitcoin, 25% flush down in 20 days straight into the lower fair value gap. Yearly low confluence, likely to consolidate here before the next move. And here is the lower fair value gap with the bottom around 69, 70K. And this is what I think is going to happen. We're going to bounce up maybe to 80K and then go lower. This is bear market stuff, guys. Bitcoin is now the most oversold since the FTX crash. We go back here to late 2022 when we had Bitcoin drop down to 15,600. Now 15,600, and we have the RSI lows on the weekly, and here we are now at $76,000, and we are at the low on the RSI again. So this is what happens cycle after cycle, right? We see a flush out, we see consolidation low, flush out, consolidation low. However, we've seen this before back in 22. When we get these consolidations, we actually come up a bit and then dump lower. That's what I think is happening now. I don't think we're at the bottom yet. Again, this is just my view and what I think is going on. Bitcoin has historically retested the 300-week EMA after a dump below the 100-week. So the 300-week EMA is at 56.8. So we got the 200, we got the 300. They're kind of a confluence very close together. But here's another view at a 300-week moving average for Bitcoin. And so that is right in that same range. That's the price target now. Nanzi says, hey, Grok, Bitcoin just wiped out from 126K down to 76K. 40% collapse. Are we finally admitting this is a bear market? Or is everyone just going to pretend that this isn't total disaster? That's a good question. What does Grok say? Well, Grok says Bitcoin's 40% drop from 126K qualifies as a bear market. This is bear market territory by the 20% decline metrics. Analysts are split. Some cite macro pressures and see more downside to 60K, while others view it as a healthy correction with undervaluation and recovery potential by mid-2026. Do your own research. So, and that's what's happening. There's a lot of bulls still out there saying, oh, this is just a correction. Buy on the dips. We're going to go much higher. Feels like full bear mode now, this guy says. Yep. So what does it mean for Dogecoin? Well, we have Bitcoin and crypto at like 14. Doge is still at 22. Also extreme fear, but on the higher end of extreme fear than the Bitcoin Fear and Greed Index. Because there's still a lot of negative sentiment out there. And we're just wondering, where is this going to go from here? But it's not only Bitcoin. I mean, look at Solana. Solana's back below $100. And it is seeing these lower lows back from 2024 into the tariff bottom 2025. And now here we are testing that same, and it's dropping lower. For all that, TVL, all the exciting things going on with Solana doesn't stop the price from dropping low. And we will be watching what Solana is. And it's interesting. I mean, we still look at the top 10 cryptos, and there's Dogecoin, 9th largest cryptocurrency. So those who say Dogecoin is dead, that's just stupid. It's stupid to say that. Because it's still the 9th largest cryptocurrency worth $18 billion. And it's actually holding up pretty well comparatively to most other altcoins. And it's even outperforming Bitcoin and ETH so far in February. Dogecoin is holding up very well. And here's Solana at number 7. Solana has really suffered, down 24% in the last 7 days. Dogecoin down 15%. So Dogecoin is outperforming most of these other coins. And people say, complain about Doge. Don't complain about Doge. Complain about Solana. Look at it, down 24%. I'll take my Doge at 15% over 24 any day. Trader Allen still says, look, Doge base touched, right? We're down at this base. And then he gets these crazy things, right? Like, I mean, this can still happen, but certainly not in July, in the middle of the summer. I don't see that. Especially just all the way up to 80 cents, just on a move like that? Not yet. I don't think that's going to happen. I mean, if X money launches, right? Everybody's talking about X money. It's not going to have Doge on it. If it did, yeah, maybe we would see that. But the chances of that are really low. If X money launches, it's going to be fiat only. We can get a pump maybe back to 20 cents or 30 cents or something like that. But it just continues. So here we have quarterly returns. Bitcoin down 13% so far, 2026. ETH down 23% quarterly. And we look at the Bitcoin monthly, and we look at October down, November, December, January, now February down. 5 red months in a row. The last time we had 5 red months low in Bitcoin was back in 2018. 2022 never even had 5 months in a row. There was always some green sprinkled in, but not 2018. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then 6 into 2019. 6 red months in a row. This is bear market, guys. 5 red months in a row is bear market. We look at Dogecoin. Dogecoin had 1, 2, 3, 4. And right now in February, Doge is actually in the green. Doge is holding up very well. So that's not bad. Again, we looked at bear market bottoms back in December for Doge as well. 9.5 cents is going to be a big support. If that breaks, we could be down to 6.7. Yes, 6.7 cents. That would be the bear market bottom prediction for the summer 2026, as we talked about back in December. And that is still a real possibility. Now, it's not financial advice. I'm just looking at the charts. I'm looking at the news, looking at the overall macroeconomic conditions and what's going on. I talked about upcoming financial crash coming up. We're going to see the stock market dip. Gold and silver still holding up very well. It had a big sell-off, but is recovering back with gold back up over $5,000. And here we are with prices down in our portfolios, and we end up with this guy. This poor guy. Please go back to my entry. I don't need profit anymore. Because that's the mentality of people thinking, I just want to get back to my buy price and I'm going to sell and I'm going to be done with this. Well, if you don't have conviction of the long term of cryptocurrency, then okay, at least you can get back and you won't lose anything. But if you're looking on a longer time frame, again, 4-year cycles, I'm still there. And each cycle is successively higher and higher. Even RSI goes down again. We just looked at the Bitcoin one. RSI goes down, same level we were 4 years ago of a low RSI, but the price didn't come down to the same level. No, the price is bigger now on Bitcoin. Bitcoin didn't go back down to 16K, right? It's at 75K. That's how crypto works long term. If you concentrate too much on the short term and what's going on, you'll be like this guy, and you won't make it. You're not going to make it. But you're not going to lose if we get back up to your buy price. So that's what we have going on right now with Dogecoin. Bitcoin is the bottom in. I say no. I think we're going to have more dips. Let me know in the comments what you think about the bottom. Are we in? How are you doing? Are you going to make it? Give the video a like. And if you haven't already, please subscribe to my channel. I appreciate the support. We'll see you next time.